the kind you wear and tie. Button up from 9 to 5. I tried that life but said goodbye. I'm not always polite, but I get the job done. Who says the work can never be fun? I'm simply unprofessional. Simply unprofessional. Yeah. Yeah. Unprofessional.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Simply Unprofessional. I am your host, Webby, and joining me tonight we got Mr. Robert Edquist.
Hey guys, I'm co-host tonight. There's no Devin.
There's no Devin. I haven't heard from Devin at all in the last 2 days. It's scary. I miss him. So, Mr. Edquist.
I didn't pay someone a bunch of money to get rid of Devin. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, all right. Send out the search party. So tonight, Mr. Edquist, I got a big surprise for you.
Oh boy.
Tonight's topic that you have no idea what it is until right now.
Oh.
We're going to be talking about the town of Salem.
Oh my god, I am so surprised.
And for the listeners, no, not Salem, the actual town, but the video game Town of Salem.
Yeah. I may be a wee bit obsessed with it at the moment.
Yeah, a wee bit. So Town of Salem is an online game. It's created by Blank Media Games.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh what? I don't like uh-oh. Uh-oh's not a good word. Did we lose Edquist?
You did, but I am back.
You are back.
I said I'm a wee bit obsessed with it at the moment. I don't know if you got that.
Oh, we did. And then I continued on, and then I heard uh-oh, and then I stopped. So, as I said while you were uh-ohing, Town of Salem is an online game created by Blank Media Games. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is, I guess, considered a browser-based game. I don't necessarily know how it would... what I would call the genre, I guess, but it's a browser-based game. It challenges you to hone your ability to lie and deceive others,
Yes.
along with learning how to read other people and how to tell if people are lying.
If anyone at home has played Ultimate Werewolf, it's very similar to that game.
It's also apparently very similar to a game called Just Mafia. I don't know what that is, but sure.
There's another one too. Shoot, I can't remember what it is. I'll have to look it up. But there's another game that's very similar to it.
So the game has several expansion packs now, I think, right? Or is it just the one? Might
Just the one expansion.
Yeah, the Coven.
Mm-hmm.
So the game ranges anywhere from apparently 7 to 15 players. The players are randomly divided into alignments throughout the game. So you have your town members, your mafia members, and then your neutral members. Now, if I remember correctly, unless you're playing a specific role or a specific version, in just the base game, there's always only 2 neutral roles, right?
Unless you're playing a chaos, yes.
Right, which is any. There's you could legit have a whole thing full of maybe not all serial killers because then the game would end, but you could definitely have 7 serial killers and it wouldn't be unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a town member, which is quote unquote the good guys, your role is you have to track down the mafia and the neutral killer and eliminate them. And by doing so, you have to... Each role essentially has a different ability. And then you're supposed to work together without necessarily giving away right away what you are. Because, for instance, say I was a jailer. Okay, that is one of the roles. So your ability as a jailer, during the day, you choose somebody on the list of names. You jail them that night. You're allowed to ask them questions, and under their chat, it just shows up a jailer, so you don't know they don't know who you are. And then if you don't like who they are, or if you think that they're bad, you can execute them. Now, the downfall of just admitting right off the bat, hey, I'm the jailer, this is what I know, is that puts a giant target on your back. Because then the mafia, the neutral killer, they're all going to want you dead. So you have to learn to give clues or sway people's opinions without necessarily giving away your role right away, which is something pretty neat. So let's see. You gotta track down the mafia and the other villains before they kill you. The catch, you don't know who is town members and who are the villains. Everybody's identities are essentially secret. If you're an evil role, such as the serial killer, your ultimate goal is to murder everyone. You just want to kill everybody. So that's basically the gist of it. How many in a normal game? How many town members are there? If the game is full with 15 people?
9.
9, and then you have 4 mafia.
Yes.
And then you have 2 neutrals.
Yes, a neutral killer and a neutral evil.
Right.
That is in either the base game or the ranked games or the ranked practice.
Right.
In other things, you might have different setups.
So within these teams, so your teams, you being your town, mafia, neutral, and then now the addition of the coven, if you play the add-on, which I have yet to play. Within each of those teams, you have alignments. So, for instance, with your town, you have town protective. Edquist, give us one example of a town protective role.
Bodyguard.
There you go. Then you have town. Then you have town support. Edquist.
Transporter. Well, I can actually give you several.
I know. I'm only asking for one.
Fine. I'll say the transporter.
For town protective or support?
Support.
All right. Town investigative.
Sheriff.
Town killing.
Veteran.
All right. Now, in the mafia side, you have mafia support.
Mafia support would be the what the is it called? The consort.
Consort. Mafia deception.
The blackmailer.
And mafia killing.
The what the heck is he called?
Godfather.
The mafioso. The mafioso or Godfather. Yeah.
All right. Now here's where we get a little weird. The neutral alignments.
Mm-hmm.
You have neutral benign.
Neutral benign is like the survivor.
Okay. Now that is where I hate the survivor. You legit. Here's your special power. You get to put a bullet vest on 3 times total in the game. So if you think someone's going to attack you, you put a vest on. If you put a vest on and no one attacks you, you wasted that vest. Your whole purpose is to just survive to the end of the game. So useless. Now, can the survivor win with either side, or do they have to win with town?
They can, as long as they're alive at the end, no matter which side wins. Neutral, mafia, or town, they can win.
All right, then you have your neutral evils.
Neutral evils are like the executioner and the jester.
Okay. Neutral killing.
Neutral killing is like the serial killer or the arsonist.
And then you have your neutral chaos.
Neutral chaos is like the witch and the pirate.
Okay. And then you have your coven evil.
Coven evils are like the potions master or the hex master.
All right. So those are your alignments for each role, essentially, for each team. Moving down this list, I want let's test your. I want to see if you know essentially a little bit about some of these game modes, because some of these I haven't played before. I will say, whenever we play with somebody new, you usually do a round or two of classic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, classic.
what essentially
easy.
is classic?
It's the easiest way to learn because in classic they give you a list of the town roles. So if somebody tries to claim something that's not on that list, you know immediately that they're lying. So it lists everything for you except for one. There's one that says random town, so that one thing is the only one you don't know. Everything else, it lists out exactly what is in the town.
Okay. The one that we now currently play probably most often, which is almost every night, ranked practice.
So ranked practice and ranked is exactly the same setup. It's just you can't play with friends in the ranked games. You can only do friends in the ranked practice.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, because they don't want you to throw the ranked games like you can with ranked practice. Like how if we're talking to each other, I can pass you information even though I'm dead or whatever. You're not allowed to do that in ranked, so they don't let you play with a party.
Gotcha.
So what that one is it has the same amount of stuff as classic, except that a lot of it is random. Like you only know instead of saying like specifically there's a sheriff, there's an investigator, there's a medium, blah blah. It'll say town investigative, town killing, and then there's like 3 or 4 random town.
Yeah.
So you don't know exactly. So it's easier for the bad guys to lie in that one because you don't know exactly what there is in the town.
And then if I'm not mistaken, under ranked practice, it's always, for Mafia, you always get a Godfather, a Mafioso, and then 2 random Mafia roles.
Yes.
Yeah. We will get into what each role does, essentially, listeners.
Yeah, and then in ranked practice, there's always a neutral evil and a neutral killing, whereas in classic, they have 2 neutral evils and 1 neutral killing. But they tell you it's the executioner, the jester, and the serial killer. It's never anything else in classic.
Gotcha.
In the ranked practice, neutral evil could be the executioner, the jester, or the witch, and the neutral killing could be the serial killer, the werewolf.
And the werewolf.
Yeah.
Yes! I'm getting some of this. Getting the hang of it. Custom matches, I'm guessing that's where you can play with friends and literally customize the match.
Yep. Whoever is the host of that lobby can choose whatever they want to throw in. You could have 1 town and a bunch of mafia. It would be a very short game, but you could do it if you wanted to. That one you could put in a bunch of different neutral evils if you wanted to have them try and fight it out to see who is the winner and all that kind of stuff.
All right. Then we have one called Rapid, apparently. I don't know anything about this one.
I've never played Rapid mode. That one is essentially a town practice, or a ranked practice, but it's faster. Like, there's very short time in between everything. Like, you only have a few seconds at night, you only have a few seconds during the day, so...
Oh my god, that must get hectic with the jailer.
Because
already, one of my biggest pet peeves, you guys will learn this throughout this episode, one of my biggest pet peeves is the fucking townies in this game are so bloodthirsty, and like the jailer will jail you unless you're Edquist jailing me on night 1. The jailer will always ask you what's your role, and then he literally gives you 3 seconds to answer. Otherwise, he executes you, whether you're a townie or not. Like,
yeah, and a couple times I have not noticed that I was jailed.
Oh, same.
I start looking on my list of things I can do, and I'm like, why is there nothing here? Oh, crap, I'm in jail, because jail is on the other side in the text box that says you've been hauled off to jail, but sometimes you don't notice.
Yeah. That's a big thing, is the fact that you're not on chat with all these people. There's a text chat that you have to type into, but we'll get more into that. Like, I've done a couple times, Edquist, where I've been jailed, but I'd be part of the Mafia, and the Mafia are allowed to type to each other at night. And so, like, the second the sun goes down, we all go into our houses. I'll start typing something to the Mafia, and then I'll hit enter, and then the jailer will be like, I'll see roll. I'll be like, well, fucking Mafia, I guess. I already told you, but I'm not telling you who they are.
Well, yeah, once when I was the jailer, that happened. Somebody typed in, well, who should we kill tonight? And I was like, well, bye, and I clicked execute.
So I will say, me and Edquist have a very unique play style when we play this game, because it's for fun. So Edquist, whenever he's the jailer, 99% of the time, night 1, he'll jail me.
Yep.
This has bit him in the ass one time.
Yeah, because what happens if the jailer jails the serial killer and does not execute them, the serial killer automatically kills the jailer. So I jailed Webby Night One, and he was the serial killer.
Yeah, and the serial killer doesn't get you don't get a say. You just off the jailer. So
So we were discussing like, oh crap, one of us has to die then. Which one? And I was like, I jailed you. You can kill me.
So Edquist usually jails me night one when he's the jailer, and then he'll ask me my role, and then I will scramble to come up with something because I'm constantly asking Edquist, when somebody investigates you, what does this role come up as in the investigation? Give me some options here. So I'm scrambling to find something, and then he'll just say I have a tendency to rickroll people in this game with my will, so he'll just say never gonna give you up, and then I know it's him, and then I go, and then I start a little mini temper tantrum, flipping my keyboard upside down, saying "God damn it!" every single fucking time.
I get jailer. You only have a 4% chance to get jailer. I get a disproportionate amount of time.
It's true. Me, when I'm jailer, I have a tendency, and Edquist has picked up on this very quickly. I'll do the same thing to Edquist. I will eventually jail him. I always forget to jail someone night one. It's just hands down. I always forget. So the night two, I'll end up jailing Edquist. I'll say roll. I'll let him answer. I'll say something along the lines of like never gonna give you up to let him know that it's me. And then I'll give them an opportunity to be honest with me. Like if I know he's a mafia, then he'll tell me, "Oh, I'm the mafioso." It's like, all right, I'll let you live.
Yeah,
And then,
I will immediately tell the truth if I was lying.
Yep, and it's to that point. Like I value honesty in this game for whatever reason. And it's to the point where Edquist has been mafia, and he's told the other mafia people, listen, if you get jailed, tell them your real role, and they won't kill you.
Every time that it's Webby, I tell the mafia, if the jail jails you, tell him who you really are. And they never follow my advice.
They never do. The one time the guy, I think, just got it confused. He's like, I'm the escort. I was like, wrong answer. So I executed him. And then he's like, but I really am the escort. And then the thing is the escort for town is consort for the mafia. So he didn't tell me he was a consort. He said he was an escort, so I offed him. So, anyway, the next one is one of I think this is one of Cheeky's favorites. All any.
I think Cheeky's favorite is Rainbow, but all any is basically anybody could be anything. You could have multiple serial killers and arsonists and werewolves. You could have like almost all town. Like it's all any. So any rules that are available could be in there, except for on the regular. On Coven, you wouldn't have the Coven rules in there, but any of the regular rules could be in there.
Right. Now the next one is Rainbow. What is Rainbow?
Rainbow is there's like two of everything. Like there's a except for jailer. There's a jailer, and then there's like two vigilantes. There's two amnesiacs. There's two serial killers. Like it's a bunch of the different. It does the different colors of the rainbow that the names are, because you know how town is green.
Yeah.
Serial killer's blue. Jester's pink. Like it does all the different colors. So every colored role has one in there.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah.
Even gray, so you have executioner.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yep. And then the last one, I also don't know anything about. It's Vigilantix.
Vigilantix is all vigilantes and witches.
Oh,
which
my God.
I'm sure you can tell what happens in that one.
Yeah. I kind of want to play one role with you, like one game with you in this.
Okay.
Oh, that's another thing. We'll get into that actually when we get to the roles, which we're getting into right now. So, Edquist, since you are essentially the more well-versed person, I do have the list in front of me, so if you need help with any of these, which I don't think you will, just let me know. But we're going to go over some of the roles. So we're going to start with Town Investigative. We're going to start with the Investigator.
Okay, so the Town Investigator, he's one of the four possible investigative roles.
6, apparently. They might. Some of these I'm thinking are Coven. You have investigator, lookout, psychic,
sheriff. Yeah, psychic. Oh, yeah. So psychic and tracker. I think, right?
and spy.
Yeah. So I wasn't thinking of the coven. So investigator, what they do is they pick a person every night to go to their house and investigate. And then it will give them 3 possibilities that person's role could be. Now, depending on who they are, it's always the same 3 roles.
All right, so for instance, if you were an investigator, you investigated me, and I was the godfather of the mafia, what would I come up as?
So it will come up to the investigator as bodyguard, godfather, or arsonist.
Now, if you're the godfather in that particular instance, okay, you're obviously, if somebody asks you what your role is and starts pressuring you, you're going to want to say bodyguard. Because if you say godfather, they'll off you. You're a fucking mafia member. If you say arsonist, they're going to fucking off you because you're the neutral killer. So you legit have no other real option there. I have gotten away with it a few times being the godfather. People have asked me to claim my role, and I'll say dumb shit like, oh, I'm a spy. And then our lookout will start saying, no, you came up as this, this, and this. I'll be like, you're a fucking lying sack of shit. And then they'll hang the lookout. It's like, well, I don't know what to tell you guys.
Because other there might not be an investigator sometimes, so they might not know your role. So if there isn't one, you could claim other things, and they wouldn't know if you're lying.
Right.
But if there is an investigator, you can also claim other things. Like if you're doused by the arsonist, if there is an arsonist and he douses you with gasoline, no matter what role you are, you also come up as bodyguard, godfather, arsonist.
Right.
So you could try to claim that you were doused. Yeah.
Yep. So what about the lookout? This is Ask Edquist. I fucking hate this role. I don't hate this role because of what it does. I also hate it because of how often I got stuck with this role when we first started playing. Now I wouldn't mind being a lookout. I wouldn't mind being a fucking town member once in a while.
Yeah, and like 90% of our games, Webby, is either neutral or the mafia.
Yep. Which I'm generally fine with, but I'd like to every so often be on the same side as my friends.
So what the lookout does is they pick a person every night and they watch their house. And then it'll tell you when the night is over who has visited that person. So if that person turns up dead, it's likely that one of the visitors that went to see them is the person that killed them.
Right. So, for instance, say me, you, and Devin were playing, and you were the lookout. I dropped that. And you were the lookout, and I was the mafioso. And I went and I offed Devin that night, and you were looking out for Devin. You'd see that I visited Devin. Daytime would come, Devin would be dead, and if I was the only visitor, Edquist would know that it was me.
Yep. And then there can be multiple people that visit someone, so you're never sure. Like, say,
those are fun on werewolf games.
Oh, yeah, I know. So, say Sabrina was also playing with us, and I was watching Devin, and both Sabrina and Webby went to go see Devin. And then in the morning, Devin's alive, and he says, oh, I was attacked and healed by a doctor. So then I know that one of Webby and Sabrina is a doctor, and one is the one that attacked him, but I don't know which is which until I find more evidence.
Yeah. Moving on, this list is a new one, new to me anyway, the Psychic.
Okay, so the Psychic every night gets visions of who is good and who is evil. It gives you 3 options of each, and only either 1, 2, or all 3 of those could be evil. 1, 2, or 3 could be bad, could be good. So it's kind of random. Like, it either shows it says, oh, you had a vision of evil, and it gives you 3 names, and now 1 of those people could be evil, or 2, or all 3. And then sometimes it gives you a vision of good. 1 of those people could be good. 1 could be, 2 could be evil, and so on. 2 could be good, or whatever. As the game progresses, that becomes more powerful because as there's fewer and fewer evil. So if you see evil and you keep seeing the same person over and over, and there's only like 1 evil left, then you know that person is evil.
Ah, gotcha. All right. Here's a role that I actually did very well with one of my last town games, the Sheriff.
So the Sheriff goes to picks a person to go through every night to interrogate, and it tells them whether they're not suspicious or are a member of the mafia. It will also warn them about the serial killer and the werewolf. If it's the night the werewolf has changed into a werewolf. The Godfather comes up as not suspicious because he stays in his house and has other people do the killing for him. So unfortunately, it's not possible to use the sheriff to find the Godfather, but you can find all the other members of the mafia.
Yep. Next one.
But once you reveal yourself and you found a member of the mafia, you usually become a target because the rest of the mafia doesn't want you to find them. So they all immediately start targeting you to kill you.
Next one is Spy.
So the Spy is they get information every night. They can bug someone's house. The Spy actually used to have another power too, where they could see whispers, but they decided the Spy was too OP with that, and they took it away. Because you can whisper to other players just so that no one can see it. It just says blah 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 whispered to blah blah blah, but that person gets the message. Spies used to be able to see those whispers, but they can't anymore. But their powers allow them to bug someone's house, and then it also tells them every night who the mafia visited. So if you start compiling a list of the people the mafia visited, you know who is not mafia because they've been visited by the mafia. And the mafia doesn't visit themselves unless there's a transporter. Transporters screw everything up. Like, sometimes they're more of a hindrance to the town than anything else.
Yep.
But generally, if people are being visited by the mafia, they're not mafia. So then that starts to give you a list of who is at least not mafia. They could still be like the neutral killer or the neutral evil, but they're not mafia.
So essentially the Spy is a lot like, almost like the Lookout, just with a little added bonus to it.
Kind of, except they see where the evil goes, or where the mafia goes all the time.
Gotcha.
But it doesn't tell them the names. It just says the mafia visited this person, this person, this person. So they know who was visited, but not by whom.
All right.
So the Lookout gets the name of who visited. So the Lookout is actually more powerful, but it's because you get them identified, but it's harder to find that, whereas the Spy gets the information no matter what happens. So what the bugging does with the Spy is if somebody visits the person you've bugged, you know what happened to them. So say I bugged you and Devin came to you as the doctor and healed you, it'll say, oh, your Webby was healed last night, he was visited by a doctor. Now it wouldn't tell me who the doctor was, but it would tell me you were visited by a doctor. So if the mafia went to you and they said, oh, Webby was blackmailed, so then I would know that you were blackmailed. Or if there's a consigliere that's gathering information, because that normally people don't know about that until they die.
Yeah.
It would tell you, oh, he was visited by an investigator. He must have been visited by a consigliere. So then people know, oh, there's a consigliere here now, whereas normally you wouldn't have that information. But you have to bug the right person to get that info.
And then lastly, for Town Investigative, we got the Tracker.
So what the Tracker does is the opposite of the Lookout. The Tracker picks somebody, and they get to see who they visited. So say you visited Devin, and I picked to track you, it would tell me, oh, Webby visited Devin last night.
So that would narrow down what roles I could be, because a lot of roles don't have the whole being able to visit other people. Yeah,
it's about half the role. No, there's a little more than half the roles that visit people. So it doesn't narrow it down too much, but you can tell, like, so say you visited Devin and then he was spamming the chat because he got blackmailed, and then he said, oh, I got blackmailed. I could be like, well, Webby visited him. He must be the blackmailer.
Yep. All right. Sneaky sons of bitches.
Yep.
All right, so moving on from Town Investigative, we're going to go right down to Town Killing. Starting off with the Jailer, who we've talked about quite a bit already.
Yep.
So go ahead, Edquist.
So the Jailer, every day, they have a daytime power, which is a little sun that appears, whereas most people don't have daytime powers. It's only a few. So he chooses somebody during the day, and at night he hauls them off to jail. So then you can talk to them in the chat box. They can't tell who you are, but you know who they are because you were the one that jailed them. So because you're Town, you ask for their role, and they will give it if they're Town because they know that you are also Town because you're the Jailer. So if they're on your side, they want to give you a role. sometimes the mafia or the others will just say silent. Usually that's an indication that they're mafia. I don't know why they do it. Usually it's an indication that they're bad if they stay silent, or they'll try to make up something. So usually you want to, because everyone has a will, usually the jailer keeps a track of who said what they were in his will in case there's lies or something later on.
Yeah. Or the jailer can choose to execute you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he executes a mafia or a neutral, you get 3 executions for the game.
Yeah.
Now, if your first execution happens to be a town member, you lose your other 2 executions.
Yes, you can still jail people, but you're no longer allowed to execute.
Right. Which is why I never understood the jailers who are like, "What's your role?" And then they don't even give you time to type anything, and then they just choose to execute you. And they're like, "Oh, wasn't talking or responding to questioning." It's like, you fucking gave me 3 seconds. You know. All right. So the next town killing role is the vampire hunter.
So the vampire hunter can investigate people and see whether or not they're a vampire, and then can choose to kill them.
I take it the vampire hunter are only in games that have vampires in them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you did custom, you could add one without vampires, but there's not really a point.
All right. The next one can get fucking hairy. The veteran.
Okay, so the veteran is basically like a crazy old army person that is like paranoid. So you have 3 alerts throughout the game. If you choose to alert during a night, you will kill anyone that visits you, whether they're bad, they're good, whatever. Like if the doctor's coming because they think you need healing, you will kill them. If the investigator's coming to find out your role, you kill them. If the mafioso's coming to kill you, you kill them instead. If the werewolf's coming to tear you to pieces, you kill the werewolf. You kill anyone that visits you.
Not only do you kill anyone, I believe you kill everyone who comes and visits you.
Yeah, every single...
in one alert.
If multiple people come to visit you, they all die that same night. The only way that you can die when you're on alert is if the werewolf comes, because the werewolf will still kill you, but you die. But he dies too.
Yeah.
Other than that, you are invincible during an alert night, and you kill anyone that visits you, and everyone and anyone.
We have this ongoing joke between me, Edquist, and Devin, because we were all playing a match, and we were all town. We were all on the same side for once.
No, you're fine.
And Edquist was the veteran, and he decided to go on alert like night 1, maybe night 2.
Yes, always. Everyone always says don't, but every time people have alerted night 1, they kill Mafia. I have seen it multiple times.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So he alerts night 1, right? The next day, like 5 dead bodies.
There were 3 dead bodies.
Whatever, they were all town. You eliminated half of our town because apparently the town all wanted to go see you.
Yeah, that's because I had a weird name. I don't remember what name I picked, but apparently it was very tempting for everyone.
And it was a close game come the end, and had we had that extra 1, 2, or 3 town members, we would have swept them.
Yeah.
Edquist killed all the town people.
I killed 3 town. I don't think I killed any bad guys that match at all.
So the last town killing role, we have the Vigilante.
Okay. So the Vigilante is like the veteran, whereas he can shoot his gun 3 times, but he visits people and shoots them. So it's not like the veteran where you have to alert and hope that the bad guys visit you and hope that no town do. You get to pick a target and kill them. You want to try and make sure it's a bad guy, because if you kill a good guy, you commit suicide the next night, and you are also dead. So you kill the town member, and then you also kill yourself, which makes the game 2 townies down.
Yeah.
You cannot kill a Godfather with the Vigilante, and you cannot kill a neutral evil. It'll say that their defense was too strong.
Yeah.
So you can identify them that way. A lot of times Vigis will shoot people that people suspect of being a Godfather, and sometimes they die and they weren't, but sometimes they'll say, oh, their defense was too strong. So then you can reveal that to the town and say, nope, he must be Godfather, his defense was too strong.
Yep. Okay, moving on down, we have 2 more town roles. We have Town Protective. We're going to start with the Bodyguard.
Okay, so the bodyguard chooses another person at night to guard. So if they are attacked, you kill the attacker, but you also die, unfortunately. But you take out the attacker with you.
Yep.
You also have one bulletproof vest like the survivor, so if you think you're going to be attacked, you can suit up and then you will survive the attack. You can't defend somebody while you're doing this. You stay home and you vest up.
Yeah. The next town protective is the doctor, which the doctor and the bodyguard make a good pair.
Yes. So the doctor, whoever they visit, they heal. So the doctor bodyguard combo can become invincible, basically, as long as they're not hung during the day. Because at night, if the bodyguard is attacked directly, the doctor heals them. And if the doctor is attacked directly, the bodyguard protects them, kills the attacker, and then is healed by the doctor. So they become like an ultimate killing machine.
Now, question.
Mm-hmm.
What if the werewolf attacks them?
The bodyguard would live, the werewolf and the doctor would die.
Okay. The next one is the Crusader, which is a DLC town protective.
The Crusader, I've never been. What I think the Crusader is like the werewolf / veteran, where they go to somebody's house and kill everyone there.
All right. Yeah, it says protect one person during the night.
Yeah, so they're like the veteran, so they go to that house and kill anyone that visits. Basically, they're the veteran, but they protect other people with it.
All right.
So anyone that visits that person dies.
And then lastly, another DLC.
I've never been the Crusader, that's why I wasn't completely sure. But
another DLC member, we have the Trapper.
So the Trapper sets up traps. It's the same thing. You protect a target with traps. The trap will tell you who visited that person and how many if they get caught in the trap, and the traps can also sometimes kill. I don't know why they don't always kill. I've been the trapper once, and I trapped 2 people. Like it said that the coven leader and somebody visited my target and were trapped, but they didn't die. So I don't know exactly what protects people from dying from the traps.
Okay. And moving on to the last one, we have town support. We're going to start with the escort.
So the escort is basically the town prostitute.
Hell yeah.
She distracts people from being able to do their roles. So say she distracted the mafioso, he can't kill anybody because it's called role blocked. So the escort prevents anybody from being able to do what it is that they do. There are a few exceptions. They cannot role block the veteran, so if they visited the veteran, they would be killed like everyone else. They cannot role block each other, so if there were multiple escorts, they are immune from each other's powers. And they cannot role block the witch.
And you cannot role block the serial killer. Well,
you can just once.
Yeah, you can, because at the end of the night, the serial killer offs you.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you are an escort and you block the serial killer from killing its target, he kills you instead.
Now, is that the same with the consort?
Yes.
Yeah.
Consort is exactly the same, just on the mafia side. They work exactly the same.
All right, so the next town support, we got the mayor. This one, if you have a clutch mayor, can really win you the game.
I did it once. Everyone was yelling MVP mayor at me.
Yep.
So what you do is, this is another day ability. You can reveal yourself as the mayor so that you, like say, because a lot of times when people are suspicious you might be going to be hanged, you can reveal yourself as the mayor and they're like, oh crap, it's the mayor, put him back. So you're the only one that can specifically show that you are on the town side. Once you reveal yourself, though, you cannot be healed by the doctor anymore. You cannot whisper people or receive whispers. But your voting power for hanging people becomes tripled.
Yep.
So you get 3 votes to vote them up. You get 3 votes for guilty or innocent once they're up there. So this gives the town a lot of power. We came down to, it was 2 townies and 2 mafia, and they thought we lost the game, and then I revealed as the mayor, and that is why everyone was like, oh my god!
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing we've neglected to say at the beginning. The point of this game, as the town, you want to eliminate the mafia. As the mafia, you want to eliminate the town. As the neutral, you kind of want to eliminate everybody, with the exception of some of the neutral evil roles have very specific guidelines for their winning. You don't necessarily have to do it all through like night abilities, like the mafia. The mafioso can go and kill other people. Every day, you have the option to vote somebody up, put them up on the noose, let them defend themselves. And if their defense stands, then they'll be pulled down off the noose, and you guys can vote again. Or 99% of the time, if you're thrown up on the noose, they're just going to get hung anyway, and then you die.
Yeah.
There have been games where I'm very, very obviously evil, and they will put me up there, and then no one will vote, and then I will just walk away from the noose unscathed. And then there are other times where Edquist will outright tell everybody, I'm mafia, and they'll go and hang somebody else.
Yep. Yeah, I have one game specifically, night 2, because there's like there ended up being like 7 or 8 nights, I think. Night 2, they accused me, they put me up, and I was like, yeah, I admit it, I'm mafia, just kill me. They took so long deciding that the time ran out, and everyone abstained, and I think one person voted innocent, so I went back down. And then they didn't put me back up, and then everyone just kind of forgot about me, and I lasted until the end and ended up winning. So it's just like, I don't understand why no one's voting me up, but I'm just going to stay quiet and let it happen.
The next town support has a curse on it. The town medium, Edquist.
Yep. So the town medium can talk to the dead chat. So anyone
Only
that dies goes in... Only at night, yes. The dead people of town that have died, both good and bad, go to a separate chat where they can talk to each other, but they can't talk to the live people of town. At night, the medium can talk to the dead chat. So if any of them had information before they died, or like if they were cleaned by the janitor and nobody knows their role, they can find out those roles and stuff. So that's basically their only powers, to be able to talk to the dead. If the medium dies, they have one seance that they can use, and at some point during the game can talk to someone in the living. So if someone revealed information in the dead chat and they needed it to get to the town, the medium has one chance to tell the town. There's this thing called the medium curse, where the medium tends to die night 1 a lot. Yeah. So everyone's always like, no medium curse, cross his fingers, stuff like that.
Yeah. The next town support is the Retributionist.
So the Retributionist has the ability to bring back one townie. They usually try to save it for an important role, like the mayor or the jailer, but they can bring back any townie that's died. That's their only ability. They can use it once, and then they have nothing else to contribute other than votes and stuff.
Yeah, I think there was a game where I was the Retributionist, and I was just so fed up that you died early on, and you were like the escort or something like that, and I was like, nah, I'm just going to bring you back.
Yep. They're like, why did you bring him back? What even was his role? It's like,
the last one is a really fucked up town role. It's the town transporter.
So what the transporter does is he exchanges one person for another. Now, this can be really helpful if you get a good transporter, because they can transport non-mafia with mafia. So if they can get a good idea of who the mafia is going to attack, they can switch that with a mafia person and have the mafia attack the mafia and kill their own guys. The only problem with it is in the beginning, you don't know who's who or anything. So you're just randomly switching people. So, hey. So what this does is it screws up a lot of stuff, because any target that was targeting one of those people then targets the one that you've exchanged them with. So if a sheriff is going towards a regular citizen, you switch him with a mafia, and without knowing it, then the sheriff gets, oh, this person's mafia, but it doesn't tell the sheriff that this person has been switched. So they think the person that they went to investigate is a mafia, when it really is because you switched those people around as the transporter. So the transporter screws up town investigation a lot. Now, even though they can be very powerful and protective, it does a lot of damage sometimes.
Now, do you think a viable strategy for the transporter, if you were the transporter, is just not doing anything for a few nights and letting some of like the town weed itself out?
Yes. The only problem, like, I usually don't transport night one when I'm the transporter, ever.
Oh, I transport everybody with anybody.
I usually hold off. You don't want to hold off too long, though, because if people put you up or ask for your role and you say transporter, and they ask, and they're like, has anyone been transported, and everyone says no, they will hang you immediately because no one's been transported because you haven't been doing it. So that's a thing you have to be aware of. Like, if you can get away with it for a few nights without doing it, I'd say maybe do 2, but then on the 3rd night, trans somebody just so they know there is a transporter.
Gotcha.
I mean, sometimes people will admit it. They'll say, "Oh, I was transported." So then the town investigators are like, oh, "Okay, who else was transported?" So they know who they were. But sometimes people won't admit being transported. And if you speak up and say, "Hey, I transported these people," then they're like, "Oh, the mafia's like, oh, kill that person. This is just going to cause chaos." Because the transporter causes chaos for both sides, really, even though they're on the town.
I wonder if there's an achievement for winning as the transporter without transporting a single person.
Winning as the transporter for what?
Like, I wonder if there's an achievement for winning a game as the transporter without transporting a single person.
I don't know. It's possible.
I'll have to look into that.
There's one for the amnesiac for never becoming a different role and surviving as the amnesiac. There's also one of the transporter ones that I love that I got was stop hitting yourself. It's when you make somebody attack themselves by transporting them.
Yep. All right, so that's it for the town roles. Moving on to the mafia. We have mafia deception roles, starting with the disguiser.
Okay, so what the disguiser does is he visits somebody every night, and then when he's investigated or even killed, he appears to be that role. This is it is revealed right away if it is a veteran, because veterans don't visit. So it'll say, blah, 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 the veteran was killed by a veteran, which is not possible. It's not possible for veterans to kill each other. You're actually only able to have one veteran. Oh, yeah, I forgot to talk about that. Some roles are special, and you're only able to have one of them per match. So if 2 people have claimed veteran, you know one of them is lying because there can only be 1 veteran per match.
Same with jailer and mayor.
Yes. There's something else, too, that you can only be one of, but I don't remember what it is.
The executioner.
No, you can have multiple executioners. Maybe there isn't another one that's only one. Maybe it's just those 3.
All right.
Anyway.
So now we got the forger.
So the forger, what they do is they can change people's wills.
Yeah, you hated this one night, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Because you spent all day fucking typing up a will.
Yeah, I had a hilarious... I put the name Dr. Zoidberg, and I had written up this will of like using his mannerisms and stuff, and like all his crazy sayings, and a forger erased it and just put something like poopy butt, or I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell they put. I was just like, my will was so long, and it was so fucking funny, and it's just gone. So first, let me explain about wills. Every person has a will that they can leave behind if they die. Usually, people put information in it that they've uncovered. If they couldn't, because like I said, you don't want to reveal yourself too much if possible, because you'll be targeted. So a lot of people put information in their wills that they haven't told people yet, or things that they found out the night before they died, just in case they die. So then if they die, their will shows up and the rest of the town can look at it to see what they said. What the forger does, and if you have a good forger that types fast, they can cause all sorts of problems. But usually they just leave a blank one because people aren't that fast at typing. Because first the mafia has to pick who they're going to attack. Then the forger has to pick to forge that person. So then a blank will comes up, and they have to quickly type in, and it depends on if they know that person's role. They have to either type in information, like saying blah, blah, blah is mafia, blah, 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 blah. But if they can do it fast, it looks like that person's will is pointing to people that are not mafia as mafia, and that can get town people hung. However, a lot of times you don't know unless you have a consigliere what roles the other town people are, so you can't put blah, 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 the sheriff, and then they turn out to be the transporter, and everyone's like, why does his will say sheriff? It must be a forger. So a lot of times they just either leave it blank or they just put a few words to make it seem like that person wasn't taking it seriously. And then their will is just gone and there's just nonsense or whatever.
Now, what are my wills usually look like, Edquist?
Webby's wills are usually either a Rickroll or they're some other type of song.
Yeah, I don't believe in wills, so
Yeah, that gets him hung a lot when he's a townie because they always demand to see your will when you are claiming a town roll.
yep. Okay, so next one is framer.
So the framer. So when an investigator is investigating a framer, it comes as framer, vampire, and jester, all of which are bad rolls. So they're the only ones in the game that always gets a bad roll from the investigator. So what the framer can do is give other people that same roll. So if the investigator looks at them, they come up as framer, vampire, or jester. So everyone thinks that they're a bad roll. Also, the sheriff, if the person has been framed that night and they go to see them, they will come up as mafia even if they are not.
All right. Then we got the janitor.
So the janitor cleans up the kills. So their power only works if the person is killed. The same with the forger. Their power only works if the person is killed. So they would go with the mafioso to whoever they're killing, and the forger and the janitor can only do their powers 3 times. The janitor takes away the will completely and removes the person's roll, so that because people can figure out if your role is still in the list or not. So say there's 2, because there's usually 2 town investigative. So if they killed a sheriff and cleaned him, and they're like, oh, it was a sheriff. One of the bad guys can pretend to be a sheriff, and nobody would know that it's really not because they don't know that the person cleaned was a town investigative role. So they don't know that they can cross that off the list.
Right. All right, and then lastly is the DLC one of the hypnotist.
I have no idea what the hypnotist does.
So apparently, according to this, the description is just you may sneak into a player's house at night and plant a memory. I'm not really much sure past that. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, it might be something. Maybe it gives like false alerts, like, oh, you were attacked but healed by a doctor when nothing happened.
No, he's allowed to leave messages for the player. The following messages are available to the hypnotist. You were transported to another location.
Oh.
Someone occupied your night. You were roadblocked. You were attacked, but someone fought off your attacker. You were attacked, but someone nursed you back to health. You feel mystical power dominating you. You are controlled by a witch. You are poisoned. You will die tomorrow. You were attacked, but someone protected you. You were poisoned, but someone nursed you back to health. Someone tried to poison you, but someone fought off your attacker. You triggered a trap. You were attacked, but a trap saved you. And a trap attacked you, but someone nursed you back to health. So apparently, as the hypnotist, you can make people think that other people visited you.
Yep. That's cool. Yeah, I've never been a hypnotist, so I didn't know.
Okay. Mafia will do support roles real quick. There's only 3 of them. The blackmailer.
So the blackmailer, what they can do is what the spy used to be able to do is they can see any whispers. So if the town is whispering to each other about their roles, you will be able to see that. Your other power is that you prevent a person from talking every night. So if you blackmail somebody, they cannot chat during the day. So there's nothing, they can't tell anybody. So if people are like discussing hanging them or ask for their role, they cannot say anything. The only thing it allows you to do is if you type anything when you're up on the hanging block, it'll say, I am blackmailed, I am blackmailed, I am blackmailed.
Next is the consigliere.
One thing, too, like bold strategies for some, like a lot of times, not a lot of times, but sometimes a blackmailer won't blackmail anybody so that people will think it is safe to whisper. Because once they know there's a blackmailer, people won't whisper because they know the blackmailer can whisper.
Yeah.
So they will hold off sometimes blackmailing anyone just so people will start to whisper.
Oh, that's a good strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I always my role every time I'm the blackmailer, I blackmail Edquist every single night till he's dead. Just every night.
He just keeps me silent until I'm dead. Although I can still talk to him because we're in voice chat. But...
Yes. Like anytime Edquist is blackmailed night 1, he's like, Webby, is that you?
So I played with this one medium,
that I died the first night, and I was like, Medium, are you there? Nothing. Second night, some more town died. Everyone was like, hey, Medium. I'm like, no, there's no Medium. He didn't say anything. Still nothing. The third night, a Mafia died. Everyone's like, oh, no, there's no Medium, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, okay. But then he waited, so no one talked to us. On the fourth night, we got the mafioso to tell us who the rest of the Mafia was. And then in the chat, it just said Medium with a smiley face. And the next day, the Medium was like, hey, the Mafia gave up the other Mafia members, and they hung all of them.
Oh,
I was like,
God.
oh, my God.
That's a good move. I like that move. All right, so the next one is the consigliere.
The consigliere is like the investigator, except it's more powerful. So what they do is they pick a person every night, and they get to know their role right off. It tells them what they are. So you don't get the 3 choices like you do with investigator. It just tells you what they are. That can also be affected by the transporter, just like the investigated one can. And that's basically what they do. So if you have like a forger and an investigator together, like they could forge a crazy will from a sheriff pointing to all sorts of other people. If they know who it is, they can find the mayor, they can find the jailer. The consigliere is a powerful tool for the Mafia. Webby is muted, so I guess I will.
My bad.
Okay.
I was clearing my throat and I forgot that I'm muted. All right, the last one is the shortest one on this list. Edquist. What does the consort do?
Consort is the same as the escort, just on the Mafia side.
Bam, done. Moving on. So the first one on Mafia killing, which is the last of the Mafia rules. The first one is a unique role, and it's a DLC only, is the Ambusher.
Yep, I have no idea what the Ambusher does.
So apparently, let's click on the link.
I'm assuming they kill a person that visits somebody else? That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know.
Mechanics is you can choose to lie in wait at someone's house each night. You will deal a basic attack to a random visitor. Mm-hmm. All visitors of your target will know your name, including the player you attacked.
Oh, geez.
When all other Mafia killing roles die, you will be promoted to Mafioso.
Well, I guess that's a one-use kind of thing.
The next one we have is the Mafioso.
So the Mafioso is basically the gunman of the Mafia. They go and kill. If there is no Godfather, the Mafioso gets to choose who to kill. If there is a Godfather, then they go to whoever the Godfather sends them to. And that's pretty much all they do. They just kill.
Yep. And if the Godfather does die in the game, then they get promoted to Godfather.
Yes. If you are the Mafioso and the Godfather dies, you become the Godfather. If there are no other killing roles and you are something else, you become a Mafioso. You don't then go to Godfather. Right. So all the roles eventually promote to a killing role if the killing roles are dead, but it takes your killing roles have to have been killed.
And then the easiest of the Mafia killing roles is the Godfather.
Yeah. So the Godfather is basically in charge. He chooses who the Mafioso goes to kill. He's disguised, so he comes up as not suspicious to sheriffs and stuff like that. And he has defense, so he can't be killed by vigilantes or neutral killers or anything like that. He can only be hung, basically. Yeah. He can still be killed by the werewolf. He can still be killed by the arsonist. He basically can't be killed by a serial killer.
All right, moving on to neutral. We're going to blow through a couple of these because some of these are dumb. Survivor, we already talked about. You get the vest up 3 times. You just have to survive to the end. Amnesiac.
Okay, so the Amnesiac is a role that is basically hit their head and can't remember who they are. Once people start to die, you can choose any role in the dead chat to become. So any role that's in the graveyard, whether they're good, whether you could remember to be the jailer if the jailer's dead. You could remember to be the mayor if the mayor's dead, which could actually, there's very rarely, you're not supposed to be able to have 2 of something, but you could have 2 mayors if
if the amnesiac remembers they're a mayor, and then you have a retributionist that brings back the mayor, then you have 2 mayors, which would be insane. But it's possible. That's the only way it's possible. But they could also go with mafia roles. They could also go with neutral killers, like the serial killer or the arsonist. Like, they can remember anything that's been killed and become that.
Yeah, see, I didn't know how this role worked when I first was the amnesiac, and I chose to be the jester. Not a good choice. Alright, the last one is a DLC one, the Guardian Angel.
Okay, so the Guardian Angel, what they have to do is keep somebody alive. They get a target. They're the opposite of the Executioner, really. They get a target. They have to keep that target alive till the end of the game, and then they win. They can even do it when they are dead. So you get 2 ultra protections. You cast it on the person. They can't be killed. It removes any poison. It removes being doused. It removes anything bad that's been on them and protects them. They cannot be killed that night. You can do this twice. You can do it from the grave as well. If your target does die, you then become a survivor for the rest of the game with no bulletproof vests. So basically, you just have to sit there and hope to not be killed.
Sucks.
Mm-hmm. And you could have anything as your protection target. It could be a townie, it could be a mafioso, it could be a neutral killer, anything.
Jesus.
Also, your protection at night prevents them from being killed in the morning. So if you cast your protection during the day, they cannot be voted up to be killed. It takes away the plate to vote for them.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that could be handy.
Yep.
So those are the 3 neutral benign roles.
Yeah. Those can win with anybody, either any side, as long as their conditions are met.
Neutral chaos. There's only one classic neutral chaos role. The rest are all DLC uniques. So let's go through the DLCs. The pirate.
Okay, so the pirate can also win with any side as long as they've done their part. What the pirate does is he has to plunder 2 people. He can plunder the mafia, he can plunder the town, so he could actually kind of choose a side if he knows who's who. But you kind of want to plunder from day one where you don't really know, because it takes a while to actually get it. So what you do is you pick a person. That person will get the thing saying they were role blocked, because pirate basically blocks them from being able to do their thing because you're fighting with the pirate. You get a board with 6 things on it. So the top 3 are the things that the pirate chooses. The bottom 3 are the things that the victim chooses. So you get a cutlass, a rapier, and a gun. You pick one of those, and then the townie picks a defense. If you picked like the cutlass, and they pick the chainmail as their defense, they will die. You will have plundered them. However, if they picked either of the other 2 things, they will survive. So it's a numbers game, and it's against the pirate, which is why you want to start plundering from the beginning, because you cannot plunder the same person you've already plundered. Tried to plunder.
Okay.
Yeah, so those people will die unless they've been healed or something. Bodyguard 2 will kill you if you try to attack a person they're protecting. But doctors can heal your person, or if they have a defense, then are protected from you. You still technically plundered them, even though they didn't die. So once you get your 2 plunders, you can kind of choose whichever side you want to help to vote. You can even reveal yourself as the pirate if you want, and say, I'm going to help this side. So that's really up to you at that point.
All right. The next one I can barely read because they put it in really bright green. I think it's the Plague Bearer.
Plague Bearer, I have no idea. I have not played with one, and I have not been one, so I don't know what they do.
Well, let's click on the little link here. Scroll down to Mechanics. You may choose to visit someone each night, infecting them with the plague. You cannot choose people who are already infected. No button will exist. You will receive a list of everyone who has been infected at the end of each night. Players will not know they have been infected. If all players are infected, you will become the Pestilence. Being dealt a powerful or higher attack the same night everyone becomes infected will still kill you, and no message alerting the town will appear. If the last uninfected person is lynched, you will become pestilence when the day ends. If a jailer jails you and doesn't execute you, you will infect the jailer if he is not already infected. Anyone that visits you will become infected, and anyone who visits or is visited by an infected player will be infected. All right. So
So then what
ultimately,
does the
let me
pestilence
see.
do?
Let me see. Um, target other infect, no action, investigation results. Game information. You are an acolyte of pestilence who spreads disease among the town. Abilities. You may choose to infect a player with the plague each night. Attributes. Players will not know they've been infected. When all living players are infected, you become pestilence. And goal. Infect all living players and become pestilence. So once you become pestilence, you win.
Oh, you just win?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Victory conditions. Can win with pirate, survivor, or guardian angel. Must kill town, mafia, coven, vampire, serial killer, arsonist, werewolves, and juggernauts. So, yeah.
Yep.
What's really fucked up? Investigative results. If you're investigated by the sheriff, your target is not suspicious. Investigator. Coven expansion results. Your target could be an investigator, consigliere, mayor, tracker, or the plague bearer. Consigliere, if you're investigated by them, your target is a carrier of disease. They must be the plague bearer. So the consigliere is the only one who can legitimately tell what you are.
Yeah, the witch too.
Yeah. The next role is pestilence. You must choose to rampage at a player's house each night, I guess.
So the plague bearer becomes pestilence. So this is what pestilence does once you become pestilence.
Oh, so you have to infect everybody, then you become pestilence, and then you can rampage everybody's house.
Okay.
That seems like a lot of work to become a killing role. I bet you it goes fast though, because everybody's always visiting everybody else.
Yeah.
So, and then lastly, in neutral chaos, we have vampire.
So vampires, they bite people and turn them into vampires. If they bite town, town becomes vampires. If they bite anything else, that thing dies. So if they bite mafia, mafia dies. If they bite neutral killers die. If they bite neutral evil dies. If they bite witches, witches die. Town's member become other vampires, and their vampire thing grows up to 4 people.
Jeez.
And then if one dies, they can add another 4th person. So then once the town, like if you're a townie and you become a vampire, you then can only win with the vampires. You cannot win with the town anymore.
So you're alert. Are you alerted as a towns member that you've become a vampire?
Yep, it tells you that you've been bitten by a vampire, become a vampire, and then you have a little chat. Like the mafia has their separate little box. It tells you the other vampire members, and you have your own chat at night.
Oh, all right. That seems neat. I want to be the vampire now. Moving on, we have the neutral evil roles, starting with the executioner.
So the executioner gets a target. That target is always townie. You have to get that person hung at all costs. You will never have the jailer or the mayor because those are the 2 things that no one can argue. Because if somebody claims to be the jailer and there is another jailer, they will be killed by the jailer. So claiming the jailer is pretty much, that's why they don't give you the jailer as a target, because there's not really no way to hang a jailer. Unless people are stupid, because I've seen a jailer get hung before.
So many times. So many times.
And then they don't give you the mayor because the mayor can reveal that they're the mayor and they'll never be hung. So,
I'm not going to lie here, Edquist. I played one game where somebody revealed themselves as mayor and they still got hung.
Yeah. So one thing you have to understand is sometimes the town people are so dumb. Like, so dumb. Yeah. I've had the mayor I was the mayor, a revealed mayor, and I got shot by a vigilante. I was like, what the fuck? In the dead chat. He's like, I totally forgot you were mayor. I was like, oh my god.
Alright, so what happens to the executioner if your target is killed and not hung?
If you get your target hung, you win no matter what happens. Whether you die, whether the mafia wins, whether the town wins, you win as long as your person's been hung and you don't leave the game. If your target
don't leave the game.
Yes. If your target is killed during the night by like the mafia or werewolf or whatever, you then become a jester. And then we'll go into what the jester does in the jester.
We're actually going to go into the jester right now. That's the next on the list.
All right. So the jester. If you started off as a jester or you were an executioner and now have become a jester, your goal is to get yourself hung. So you do this kind of by acting suspicious, but you don't want to be too suspicious. Like, jester is actually a really hard role. Because you want to be suspicious enough that people will hang you, but not so suspicious that the jailer will off you. And if you're also too suspicious, people will suspect you of being a jester, so they will not hang you. So you got to kind of find the right balance of suspicious and not suspicious, and while not being killed by the mafia as well.
There are lots of times where I play a mafia role and I pretend to be a jester. And that only lasts until they actually accidentally kill the jester, or they find
or
out
the other neutral evil, because there can only be one.
Yeah.
So a lot of times the jester, because if the town hangs the jester gets to get. They win no matter what happens after that point. They've won if they stick around to the end of the game. 2, they get to pick someone to kill, and that person cannot be prevented from being killed no matter what you do. It's an unstoppable attack. So even with the Guardian Angel's power, I don't think they can prevent a jester from killing that person. I'm pretty sure they said it's unstoppable.
And they recently changed this, but before...
I've heard they changed it. I have not seen it happen yet. But apparently, it's supposed to be only people that voted guilty to get the jester hung that could be voted. Somebody has said that it's now anyone that also abstains, so you have to vote innocent, which I think makes it even harder for the jester, because then people are going to vote innocent just to get him down. So I don't know that that's true, but apparently if people have abstained now, they also get to kill the abstainers. But I have not put that to the test. I haven't seen it happen.
Right.
We'll see.
The last neutral evil role is the witch.
So the witch is obviously in the non-coven games, because in the coven, the witch is the coven leader. But in the non-coven games, the witch controls another player during the night and can send them against another player. So you pick somebody, and then you pick a second person. So whatever person you first chose will use their power against that second person. And then at the end of the night, you get to know what the role is of the person you controlled. So the witch cannot win with town. They can win with anybody else. So they can choose to back the neutrals. They can choose to back the mafia. They just can't back the town.
Yep. And then lastly, for the neutral roles, we have neutral killing, which there are 4. Let's start with the easiest one, the serial killer.
Okay, so the serial killer basically just stab people to death. If you're blocked by an escort, you will kill the escort. If you are jailed, you will kill the jailer. You have no choice in either one of those. So you basically just go around killing people. You cannot kill the Godfather. You cannot kill the executioner. Their defenses are too high. Anyone else you can kill. Unless you're in like a chaos match where there's other neutral evils, you also cannot kill neutral evils like the werewolf and the arsonist.
Right.
The neutral killings,
neutral
you can't kill the neutral evils except for the executioner.
Next one, we will go to the werewolf.
So the werewolf is also a killing role. You cannot kill unless there is a full moon.
Which is every other night.
Yeah. So the first night you can't do any killing. Second night you can. Third you can't. Fourth you can't. What you do is you rampage, which makes up for the not being able to kill every night. So you go to someone's house, you kill that person, and you kill everyone that visited that person, no matter who they are. So you kill all of them. If you're blocked by a bodyguard, you die as well. Still everyone else dies. The bodyguard, the person that he was guarding, anyone that visited besides you. If you attack a veteran and they are alerted, the veteran dies, you also die, but he dies, and anyone that visited him dies as well. If you are jailed on a night where you turn into a werewolf on the full moon, you will also kill the jailer without a choice, and you will kill anyone that visited the jailer. The only thing that is, if you visit the jailer and you're not jailed, whoever he jailed will still be protected. They can't be killed in jail, but that is the only option, way out of it.
Yeah. Now, I will say I've had several very bad werewolf matches where I die super early. One of the saltiest matches I ever had was I got hung the fucking second night, or the second day. They just decided, hey, this guy's suspicious, let's hang him. But there was one game where I got an achievement for it. I visited one person's house. 5 people died when I was the werewolf. I was just like,
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep, he killed 3 townies and 2 mafia.
Yeah. All right. Next one, we got the arsonist, which can be fun.
Yeah. So the arsonist, they can visit people every night and douse them in gasoline. And then when they choose one night, they click on themselves, and then they ignite everyone that's been doused in gasoline, and they burn and die no matter who they are. Now, you can do like an off and on, like you could douse somebody, then burn them, douse somebody, then burn them, if you want. So you could kill one person every other night, or you can douse a whole bunch of people in a row, like take 4 nights to douse 4 people, then burn all 4 of them on the 5th night. So a lot of times what happens with the arsonist is people you've doused get killed, because people tend to get killed every day. So sometimes it can be frustrating, but sometimes, like when there's like 6 or 7 people left and you've doused 6 of them, and then they wake up the next morning and it's you and 1 person left, it's so satisfying.
Last one we have is a DLC one. It's the Juggernaut.
One more thing. With the arsonist, you can take one night and not take any actions, and you clean gasoline off yourself, so you do not appear as the arsonist to investigators. But anytime you do anything else, like if you do, then the next night, if you go and douse somebody, you will be covered in gasoline again, so you will appear as the arsonist. Anyway, sorry, Juggernaut. I have also not been the Juggernaut or seen it, because it's extremely rare to get Juggernaut in a game.
Wait until you hear this fucking thing. I just read this. So the Juggernaut mechanics. First off, your goal: kill everyone who would oppose you. Okay, seems like a legit neutral killing role.
Yeah.
Mechanics: as the Juggernaut, you become stronger each time you kill someone.
Oh, bye.
So at the start, you only get to kill somebody on the full moon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you get to attack one person. You don't even rampage. The Juggernaut starts off with a powerful attack and defense level of none. The Juggernaut can only kill every other night at the start. The Juggernaut gets 4 abilities. After the Juggernaut's first kill, you will receive a message saying you have gained a new ability. You may now attack every night. This enables the Juggernaut to attack both full moon and non-full moon nights. After the Juggernaut's second kill, you will receive a message saying you've gained a new ability. You have gained basic defense. The Juggernaut now has basic defense. After the third kill, you've gained a new ability. You now rampage when you attack. When the Juggernaut attacks, anyone who visits the Juggernaut's target will also be dealt a powerful attack similar to the Werewolf and Pestilence. If the Juggernaut stays home, anyone who visits him will die. After the fourth kill, you'll get a message that says you've gained a new ability. You ignore effects that would protect a player. This means the Juggernaut gains the Unstoppable attack, which is similar to the Jester's Haunting. Ignore powerful defense. Your attacks can bypass jailed townies' protection, as well as any kind of protection a protective role can grant to their target, i.e. a protection from a bodyguard, crusader, doctor, or guardian angel.
Wow.
Sometimes when this is a bug, but sometimes when Juggernaut kills, the manner of the victim's death will not be displayed to the players. You have no investigative result to the investigator. This is a dead giveaway, as you are the only role without one. If you are investigated, you will be revealed as a Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, no results. You got no result. Like, what?
To a sheriff, you will be not suspicious. Investigator, you will have no results shown. And as a consigliere, your target gets more powerful with each kill. They must be a Juggernaut. So, They seem pretty beefy. Just throwing that out there. All right, that's it for all the neutrals. The next are only coven roles now from the expansion. I don't know much about these. There's not
Okay.
many of them. So we'll start
Yep.
with the coven leader.
Okay, so the Coven Leader works exactly as the Witch does in the regular game. They control one person and make them attack another person with their power.
Okay, so essentially, yeah, like you said, the witch.
Yeah. They're basically the Witch, but they're called the Coven Leader. The Coven gets the Necronomicon after night 3. So after night 3, the Witch appears as not suspicious to. She gets basic defense. She gets not suspicious to the sheriff, and she can then kill with her power. So she can use somebody to attack somebody, and then also drain that person of life so that they die.
Oh my god. Okay,
Mhm.
that gets gnarly.
Yep.
The next one is the Hexmaster.
So the Hex Master puts a hex on every person. If they hexed everybody that is not Coven, they get an unstoppable attack that kills everyone in one shot, and the Coven automatically wins.
My god.
Mhm. But they have to hex everyone that is not Coven to do it. That are alive.
So it's kind of like the Arsonist almost.
Yes, except that they can't choose to set it off. They have to get everyone.
Yeah. All right. The next one is Medusa.
So the Medusa is like the veteran for the Coven. They will turn. They have 3 alerts. They will turn anyone that visits them to stone. If someone is stoned, they lose their will because it's turned to stone with them. They also you cannot determine their role because they've been turned to stone.
All right. So
you're
a veteran with forger / janitor powers?
Basically, yeah.
Wow.
So one strategy is that the Coven leader will force people to attack the Medusa so that the Medusa can turn them to stone.
Now, do the Coven get the same small little chat box like a
Yes.
Mafia?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you can tell in chat, hey, whoever the Medusa role is, I'm going to make so and so come visit you. So alert up.
Yep.
That is fucking tricky.
Mm-hmm. The only thing is, it does not. If you don't know people's roles and you get somebody that doesn't visit, they won't visit. The mayor doesn't visit, or the jailer doesn't visit. So if you try to send them to the Medusa, nothing will happen.
Yeah.
But any visiting role, yeah, that a lot of times they'll do that.
All right. Next one is a Necromancer.
The Necromancer I have not seen. I think they might be something like the Retributionist, but I'm not entirely sure.
Seems like the Retributionist on drugs. We're going to go right down to the mechanics here. The Necromancer has the ability to reanimate a dead player and use their ability on another living player. The corpse then rots, allowing only one use of a corpse. A spy or lookout will not see you visit your first target. They won't see you visit your second target, but will see whoever you reanimated performing the visit instead. A tracker who follows you will see you visit your first target. That is the person in the graveyard. The corpse performs the second visit, not you. You won't be killed if they hit a bodyguard, veteran, werewolf, pestilence, trapper, or so on. Instead, you will be informed of whatever happens to them. A lookout will see the name of the corpse you use, not yours. Similar, if you control a bodyguard, their zombie will sacrifice themselves. You'll be fine. This just goes on. Like, if you reanimate a godfather and there's a living mafioso, the mafioso will be forced to attack whoever you target, overriding their own decision for the night. Since the mafioso actually performs the attack, they'll suffer any consequences, such as the bodyguard or veteran.
Wow.
If there's no living mafioso, or if they get role blocked, your godfather zombie will attack as usual. The death note used by those you reanimate will be whatever it was the moment they died. Further edits to the post-mortem will be registered. Jesus. Yeah, no, this seems like a retributionist / witch I
That actually
guess.
sounds really fun. But yeah, I've never seen that one played yet.
The next one is the Poisoner.
So the poisoner poisons people. They get a message saying that you were poisoned, and then if no one heals you, you will die the next night. A lot of times, people that are poisoned will call for the doctor to fix them because the doctor can take away the poisoning, as can the guardian angel.
So that's a good way to lure a doctor to a place if you plan on, say, using mind controlling a werewolf or something to go visit that house.
Yes.
Okay. Goddamn covens, they're so fucking OP. And then the last one for the covens are the Potion Master.
Potion Master, I've never played. I know they get 3 potions they can use. One of them, I think, kills a target. One of them will reveal what the target's role is, and I'm not sure what the third potion does.
So, Potion Master can select between 3 potions to use a night, a healing potion, a revealing potion, and an attacking potion. Each of the potions has a 3-day cooldown. The healing potion will heal your target from attacks for that night. The revealing potion will tell you your attack's roll. The attacking potion will deal a basic attack to your target. With the Necronomicon, the cooldowns for the potions are removed. You can target fellow Coven members, but not yourself.
Cool.
So, and those are all the rolls.
Yeah, the Necronomicon gives different abilities to who has it. Like I said, though, I told you I don't know what it does for each roll, but I told you what it did for the Witch, and that's what it does for the Potion Master. I don't know what it does for the other rolls. I think it allows the Medusa to travel in order to kill people with the stoning, but I'm not sure. I don't know what it does for the rest, but...
So those are all the roles for pretty much in the game. We went over all the abilities that each role has, essentially. Let me ask you this, Edquist, as we approach wrapping up here. You have the Coven expansion.
I do.
What is your favorite Coven class, I guess?
A Guardian Angel. I think it's fun. But I should point out, Coven, like, when we're playing the regular game, we didn't games like that. Right into a game. Coven, I had to sit there for, like, 10 minutes for a game to start, and then if you die night 1, you're just like, fuck me.
The game is a lot of waiting, because there's a timer every night, there's a timer during the day, you have to wait for people to vote on lynching somebody, and then if they are lynched, you have to give them X amount of seconds for defense, and it is a lot of waiting.
Yeah.
So when you die early on, it's fucking dumb.
Well, what I mean is, like, for Coven, because there's so fewer people playing it, because you have to pay for that one, whereas the other one's free, there are so few people that you just wait in the lobby for people to join for like 10 minutes.
Right.
And then if you join and then you die the first night, it's just like, I waited for 10 minutes to join, now I'm dead, and I have to wait for the game to end. Well, you could leave early, but then you're just going to be stuck waiting in the lobby again, which is like, oh my god.
So, what is your favorite town role?
Ooh. It's a hard one. I would say probably either jailer or mayor would be my favorite town roles.
Okay. I'd probably go jailer or vigilante. I get very impatient, and like, if I'm the vigilante, you're allowed to shoot, 3 times, I think?
Yeah.
And I get very opposed to, like, character icons, like your little avatars. And I'll shoot somebody just for looking stupid. So...
Yeah. I've killed people for being like jerks, like being racist and stuff in the chat.
Yep. What is your favorite mafia role?
My favorite mafia role is either the Godfather, because when I'm playing with you guys, I can prevent you guys from being killed till the end, or I like the Consigliere, because then I get to know what everyone is.
Right on. Yeah, I prefer the Godfather. I think over all of them. And then finally, let's just go neutral evil role. What's your favorite one of those?
Which the other two suck ass.
The other two really do suck. And then your favorite neutral killing role.
I'm gonna say the werewolf is my favorite.
See, I like the werewolf, but I like the serial killer because I like being able to kill every night.
Yeah. Unless you're throwing in vampires, then I would choose vampire. Because the vampire doesn't fit in any of those categories, but
right.
I think the vampire's cool.
So any last comments or suggestions? What would you suggest if, say, for instance, we got Clay this game, right? And it was his first time playing. What kind of comments or suggestions would you have for him for his first time playing?
One, play Classic at least twice to get the hang of it. Two, don't leave the game unless you're dead, because people get really pissed at that, which I am one of them.
Even when you're dead, you kind of want to hang around if your side seems to be winning.
Yeah, because you will get points to unlock stuff if you don't leave. Like if your team whether your team wins or loses, you get points to unlock stuff. They give you silver coins, which you can use to buy other skins or different backgrounds and stuff like that. Pets, you get little pets and whatever. However, if you have a win-loss ratio, and so if you leave, it's an automatic loss, even if your side ends up winning the game. And then you don't want to leave while you're a glitch or computer issue, just because people will get really pissed, especially if you're an important role, and they'll report you for game throwing.
Yep. All right. Any other comments?
Yep. Well, for a new player, try to keep a will, because, like I said, a lot of times they'll just hang you if you don't have one. To do it, you Control-C, to copy, Control-V to paste. It won't let you just click copy like a regular thing. I found that out the hard way, because I was like, I don't know. The first couple games, I was like, I don't know how to show my will. People are like, oh, never, try to talk and blah, blah, blah. I have more success with the bad guys if I stay quiet. Like, I have literally said nothing all game and won as a bad guy.
That is true.
Yeah, like the less attention you draw to yourself seems to be better. I actually do it on both sides, because I don't want to draw mafia attention unless I have information that is key. Like if I only have some information, like if I'm the investigator and I see bodyguard, godfather, arsonist, like there's a chance that they could be the godfather, arsonist, but there's also a chance they could be a bodyguard. I don't want to reveal that information until I'm sure. So if that person then says, oh, I'm a doctor, and I know they're not, then I will call them out. But until then, I'll stay quiet, just because I don't want to make myself a target. But
very true.
Yep. A lot of people keep notes. I don't, of who the random town could be, because, like I said, it gives you jailer, it gives you town investigative, town protective, town support, and then there's like 3 or 4 random towns. So a lot of people put at the bottom of their wills who has been revealed as the random town. So that way, when all those are filled up, you'll know if someone's lying or not. So say all the random town were gone and the town protective is gone, and someone claimed to be a bodyguard, you know that it's not possible for them to be a bodyguard. I don't get that involved in it. A lot of people tend to point that out, and then I will look and say, oh yeah, okay. I don't keep track of it myself usually, but if you want to be that in-depth, you can.
I usually spend that time when people are taking those notes trying to come up with something witty for my will.
Yes.
Because I definitely, 98% of the time, I do not put anything useful in my will. Every so often, I do come across those games, like that last sheriff game that I did pretty good at. I will actually keep a will. But 98% of the time, it's usually music lyrics of some fashion.
Yep. And then if you're playing with us, if you're on opposite sides, you always got to try to save that person for last.
Yeah, we have
our deal.
Yeah, we have an understanding, because me and Edquist will go into a match, and if I go, oh, he knows I'm town. I hate town.
And if I go, ugh, he knows I'm mafia.
Mafia, because he hates mafia. But we'll always usually tell each other, it's like, well, I'm town. Well, I'm not town. But we just try to keep away from each other and not avidly go right after each other right off the bat. I will. I am very sneaky when it comes to Edquist whenever he's Mafia. Because if I'm the jailer and I jail him, and he tells me, yeah, I'm Mafia. All right, cool. And then I'll start in voice chat. I'll be like, so who are your other Mafia friends? And then he won't want to tell me, obviously. So then I just start jailing him every night.
Yeah, so unless I give him at least one, he'll keep jailing me every night.
So, but I'm not killing him, so I'm staying within the bounds of our agreement. And then if I'm a blackmailer, forget it. I even put in my will I'm blackmailing, or if I'm an escort. I don't even care if you're not a good role to role block. I'm always occupying Edquist's night.
Mm-hmm.
So
I did that to Sabrina. One time I was the escort and I just kept blocking her like crazy, and she was the arsonist, and she was getting so upset because I didn't tell her it was me.
Yeah, no, she did the same thing when I was a witch, and I kept controlling her because I found out that she was the Godfather. So I was like, all right, I'll use her to start killing random people. And then by the third night that I controlled her, Sabrina in voice chat was like, this fucking witch better back the fuck off. It's like, oh, Jesus. So, yeah, it's fun though. It's a very addictive game for such a simple simple type of game.
Yep.
So.
The Resistance is the other game I was trying to think of. And the Resistance Avalon, that's fun because you get to be like Merlin and Gawain and stuff.
Oh, jeez. All right.
It's the same kind of things where there's Morgana who's on the bad side and the Lady of the Lake who's on the good side and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's a similar thing.
All right. Well, I think we've sufficiently dissected the Town of Salem video game. So we're going to sign off because we're a little over an hour and a half into this, which we got quite a bit out of one game. I was impressed. There is a lot to this game, though, if you dissect it.
Yeah.
So Edquist, where can people find you, and do you have anything you want to plug?
You can find me on Twitter at Confessor_X. And you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/ConfessorX. I just completed Welly UHC, and I will soon be doing Flux UHC. So if you're interested in Minecraft, I will be doing those soon. So enjoy.
What is UHC? I'm just kidding.
Hardcore.
Bullshit.
No,
hardcore.
I know. That's what it stands for.
Yeah, well. Ain't none
I know you
hardcore.
know.
All I know is I suck. You just give me a bow and arrow and point me in a direction.
Webby plays the Minecraft, everybody.
I do from time to time.
He won the first UHC, the Distractions Media did.
On accident. No, not the first one. It was the second one.
It was the second one, yeah.
First one, I got blown up by a creeper in the first 5 seconds. Because I didn't realize that it was daytime and it spawned underneath some weird mountain cave thing where it was still dark, but it was outside.
Yeah, that happened to me in Welly. I turned around and there was a freaking creeper in the middle of the day. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And then I believe you were my partner for the second one.
Yeah. So I technically won too, but it was Webby.
And then I will say, what was it for the live stream for the charity live stream that we did in last December?
Yeah, you and Devin burned down the Christmas.
Me and Devin were partnered together, and oh boy, you put us together in a game like that, we're just gonna cause problems. Because me and Devin have that attitude of, oh gee, we're in here with a bunch of people who play this for a fucking living and do it almost every day. We're gonna suck. We're gonna lose one way or the other. So me and Devin's thought, meh, fuck it. We'll go make a bunch of metal buckets, fill them up with lava, and then run to the end where we know that the center of the map, there's a big, huge Christmas tree that John spent forever making. So me and Devin ran there and just poured lava everywhere and burnt that fucking tree to the ground.
Yeah, they did. And the presents and the little train set.
Yep, the minecart set. Yep, everything burnt. We just wanted to watch the world burn. So, yeah, dive into my mind a little bit if you want. Anyway, as always, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Jax Forest Walker, JAX Forest Walker, all one word. Also, visit Facebook, facebook.com/simplyunprofessional. I post things from time to time on there. They're usually cool little like, name a movie quote, and I'll try to guess what movie it's from, or other random things. And then we end up having themes. Like I did a theme specifically for Edquist where the whole month of October was all horror themed.
Mm-hmm.
I hated it, but I'm gonna do it every year. So yeah.
Yep. One thing I want to plug, which I haven't really discussed with you, so you can always cut this out if you.
Yeah, fucking October, fucking Halloween live stream.
Well, there's that.
The fuck out there.
But the Vamp game, the Masquerade Brave New World.
Oh, yes.
Because it doesn't really fit in with any of the other podcasts, I was wondering if you would mind if I released it on the Simply Unprofessional feed.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I like that idea. We will discuss with Austin and see if he wants what he wants to do.
Okay.
I'm fine with that though. It'll be added content for like sometime in the middle of the week or something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm so excited because I'm part of that, people. I get to actually play in a game where I get to be an evil prick, and I'm rewarded for it.
A ticklish evil prick.
Shut up! We're not talking about that. If you want to know more, listen to that podcast when that comes out.
I have one thing to say.
Not about that.
Dead rabbit hand puppets.
Oh my god, that is very true. Never. And as always, folks, feel free to write us emails or comments, ideas for future topics. I still have, I have an ever-growing list now of topic ideas, but yeah. But you can do that at simplyunprofessional@gmail.com. So, with that being said, and as always, fuck Booster Gold.
Fuck Booster Gold. Bye.
I want to plug Jessica Negri.
No, god damn it, I'm still recording.
Oh, you said you were done.
Fucking stayed in. Yeah, you're not used to my new recording thing. That was Clay, folks.
Fuck.
Da-da-da. Da-da-da.
Bastard.
You can't find him anywhere on the internet, and you obviously can't take him anywhere with you.
Actually, you can find him on Discord.
And we're done.